Surah 67. Al-Mulk. Context. Period of revelation. It could not be known from any authentic hadith when the surah was revealed. But the subject matter and the style indicate that it is one of the earliest surahs to be revealed at Mecca. The theme and subject matter. In this surah, on the one hand, the teachings of Islam have been introduced briefly, and on the other, the people living in heedlessness have been aroused from their slumber in a most effective way. A characteristic of the earliest surahs of the Meccan period is that they present the entire teachings of Islam and the objective of the Prophet's mission, not in detail, but briefly, so that they are assimilated by the people easily. Moreover, they are particularly directed to make the people shun heedlessness, to make them think and to arouse their dormant conscience. In the first 5 verses, man has been made to realize that the universe in which he lives is a most well-organized and fortified kingdom, in which he cannot detect any fault, any weakness or flaw, however hard he may try to probe. This kingdom has been brought from nothing into existence by God Almighty Himself, and all the powers of controlling, administering, and ruling it are also entirely in God's hand, and His power is infinite. Besides, man has also been told that in this wise system, he has not been created without a purpose, but he has been sent here for a test, and in this test, he can succeed only by his righteous deeds and conduct. In verses 6 to 11, dreadful consequences of disbelief which will appear in the hereafter have been mentioned, and the people are told that God, by sending His prophets, has warned them of these consequences in this very world, as if to say,
"Now, if you do not believe in what the prophets say and correct your attitude and behavior accordingly, in the hereafter you will yourself have to admit that you really deserve the punishment that was being meted out to you."
In verses 12 to 14, the truth that has been impressed on the minds is that the Creator cannot be unaware of His creation, as if to say, He is aware of each open and hidden secret of yours, even of the innermost ideas of your hearts. Hence the right basis of morality is, that man should avoid evil, fearing the accountability of the unseen God, whether in the world there is a power to take him to task for this or not, and whether in the world there is a possibility of being harmed by such a power or not. Those who adopt such a conduct in the world alone will deserve forgiveness and a rich reward in the hereafter. In verses 15 to 23, making allusions, one after the other, to those common truths of daily occurrence, which man does not regard as worthy of much attention, he has been invited to consider them seriously. It has been said,
"Look, the earth on which you move about with full satisfaction and peace of mind, and from which you obtain your sustenance, has been subdued for you by God. Otherwise, this earth might at any time start shaking suddenly so as to cause your destruction, or a typhoon might occur, which may annihilate you completely. Look at the birds that fly above you, it is only God who is sustaining them in the air. Look at your own means and resources, if God wills to inflict you with a punishment, none can save you from it, and if God wills to close the doors of sustenance on you, none can open them for you. These things are there to make you aware of the truth, but you see them like animals, which are unable to draw conclusions from observations, and you do not use your sight, hearing, and minds, which God has bestowed on you as men. That is why you do not see the right way."
In verses 24 to 27, it has been said,
"You have ultimately to appear before your God in any case. It is not for the prophet to tell you the exact time and date of the event. His only duty is to warn you beforehand of its inevitable occurrence. Today you do not listen to him and demand that he should cause the event to occur and appear prematurely before you. But when it does occur, and you see it with your own eyes, you will then be astounded. Then, it will be said to you, this is the very thing you are calling to be hastened."
In verses 28 to 29, replies have been given to what the disbelievers of Mecca said against the Prophet and his companions. They cursed the Prophet and prayed for his and the believers' destruction. To this, it has been said,
Whether those who call you to the right way are destroyed, or shown mercy by God, how will their fate change your destiny? You should look after yourselves and consider who would save you if you were overtaken by the punishment of God. You regard those who believe in God and put their trust in Him as the misguided. A time will come when it will become evident as to who is misguided in actual truth.
In conclusion, the people have been asked this question and left to ponder over it.
If the water which has come out from the earth at some place in the desert or hill of Arabia and upon which depends your whole life activity, should sink and vanish underground, who besides God can restore to you this life-giving water?
Surah 67. Al-Mulk. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Blessed is He, in whose hand is dominion, and He is over all things. Competent, He, who created death and life to test you as to which of you is best indeed. And He is the exalted in might, the forgiving. And who created 7 heavens in layers. You do not see in the creation of the most merciful any inconsistency. So return your vision to the sky. Do you see any breaks? Then return your vision twice again. Your vision will return to you humbled, while it is fatigued. And we have certainly beautified the nearest heaven with lamps, stars, and have made from them what is thrown at the devils, and have prepared for them the punishment of the blaze. And for those who disbelieved in their Lord, is the punishment of hell, and wretched is the destination. When they are thrown into it, they hear from it a dreadful inhaling, while it boils up. It almost bursts with rage. Every time a company is thrown into it, its keepers ask them, "Did there not come to you a warner?" They will say, "Yes, a warner had come to us, but we denied and said, 'God has not sent down anything.' You are not but in great error." And they will say, "If only we had been listening or reasoning, we would not be among the companions of the blaze." And they will admit their sin, so it is alienation for the companions of the blaze. Indeed, those who fear their Lord unseen will have forgiveness and great reward. And conceal your speech, or publicize it, indeed He is knowing of that within the breasts. Does He, who created not know, while He is the subtle, the acquainted? It is He, who made the earth tame, for you, so walk among its slopes, and eat of His provision, and to Him is the resurrection. Do you feel secure that He, who holds authority in the heaven, would not cause the earth to swallow you, and suddenly it would sway? Or do you feel secure that He, who holds authority in the heaven, would not send against you a storm of stones? Then, you would know how severe was my warning. And already had those before them denied, and how terrible was my reproach. Do they not see the birds above them, with wings outspread and sometimes folded in? None holds them aloft except the most merciful. Indeed He is of all things seeing. Or who is it that could be an army for you, to aid you, other than the most merciful? The disbelievers are not but in delusion. Or who is it that could provide for you, if He withheld His provision? But they have persisted in insolence and aversion. Then is one who walks fallen on his face better guided, or one who walks erect on a straight path? Say, it is He, who has produced you, and made for you hearing and vision and hearts, intellect. Little are you grateful. Say, it is He, who has multiplied you throughout the earth, and to Him, you will be gathered. And they say, when is this promise, if you should be truthful? Say, the knowledge is only with God, and I am only a clear warner. But when they see it approaching, the faces of those who disbelieve will be distressed, and it will be said, this is that for which you used to call. Say, O Muhammad, have you considered whether God should cause my death and those with me, or have mercy upon us, who can protect the disbelievers from a painful punishment? Say, He is the most merciful, we have believed in Him, and upon Him we have relied. And you will come to know who it is that is in clear error. Say, have you considered, if your water was to become sunken into the earth, then who could bring you flowing water?